Your laziness is literally eating your bank account alive right now.
Yeah.
But a 2,400-year-old philosopher has the ultimate shortcut to fixing it.
Yeah, it really is the ultimate cheat code. I mean, it completely flips the script on what it means to be productive, you know? It turns the very act of doing absolutely nothing into your most devastating strategic advantage.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I am so genuinely thrilled about this one because today is custom built entirely for you. Yes, you listening right now. The self-proclaimed lazy procrastinator.
Right.
The person who is currently putting off that massive project, staring at the ceiling, feeling that creeping guilt about not grinding 24/7.
And we have all been exactly in that position. I mean, the guilt is so universal, especially in our modern culture, right?
Yes.
We just equate a constant visible motion with actual progress.
Exactly. So today, we are tearing into the pages of this absolutely fascinating book. It's called Chanakya and the Art of Getting Rich by Radhakrishnan Pillai. And I have to admit, I'm vibrating with excitement because this is not your standard run-of-the-mill, wake up at 4 a.m. and take an ice bath self-help lecture.
No, not at all. It's a profound paradigm-shifting approach.
Right.
It's an incredible source, primarily because it roots modern financial strategy in ancient battle-tested philosophy. It forces us to entirely redefine what wealth creation actually looks like on a mechanical level.
And just to set the stage for you, we are talking about Chanakya. This isn't just some abstract poet. He was an ancient Indian kingmaker, a ruthless and brilliant master economist, and a political strategist who lived around the 4th century BC.
Yeah, he was a powerhouse.
We are talking about a man who literally wrote the absolute best playbook for getting rich and amassing immense power, entirely without that traditional back-breaking grind that we are all told is mandatory.
And that is the crucial context here. Chanakya, he did not believe in mindless hustle. He viewed physical exhaustion as a failure of intellect.
Wow. A failure of intellect. I love that.
Right. He was this master strategist who mentored kings from the shadows. I mean, he was instrumental in establishing the Maurya Empire, which was one of the largest empires in ancient India.
Oh, wow.
And he played a massive role in stopping Alexander the Great's advancing forces from fully penetrating the subcontinent. And the truly mind-bending part is that he accomplished all of this unprecedented geopolitical dominance using a foundational concept he called Aanvikshiki.
Aanvikshiki. Okay, let's unpack this right out of the gate because I feel like this is the core of our entire deep dive today. What exactly is that?
So, at its most literal translation, Aanvikshiki is the science of right thinking. It's the investigative, logical, and strategic framework that governs all successful action. Chanakya basically believed that before you move a single muscle, before you spend a single coin, or deploy a single soldier, you must engage in a prolonged period of intense calculating thought. It is the ultimate, non-negotiable foundation of all sustainable wealth.
But wait, I need to push back here for a second.
Yeah.
Because here is my central question, and I'm sure it's exactly what you are thinking right now while listening to this. How on earth can sitting around on my couch, binge-watching television and procrastinating on my actual work possibly be linked to this legendary ancient science of wealth?
Right.
Calling that right thinking just feels like a massive, highly convenient rebranding exercise for my own bad habits.
Yeah.
Aren't we just swapping physical laziness for intellectual laziness?
See, that is the big secret, and it is entirely counterintuitive. To really understand the mechanism behind it, we have to look at how nature itself builds wealth and stability.
Okay.
The text uses a biological metaphor that perfectly illustrates the psychological reality of Aanvikshiki. We really need to talk about the Chinese bamboo.
Okay, yeah, I've heard versions of this story in, motivational seminars. But lay it out for me in the context of Chanakya. I want the actual mechanics of it.
Sure, let's strip away the motivational cliches and look at it structurally. Imagine a farmer who decides to invest his future in a Chinese bamboo shoot. He plants it in the soil, he waters it meticulously every single day, he ensures the soil pH is perfect, he protects it from pests.
Sounds like standard agriculture so far.
Right. Now imagine his neighbor buys a mango seed and plants it on the exact same day right across the fence. The neighbor does the exact same daily labor.
So we have a side-by-side comparison, a race for a return on investment.
A very slow, highly psychological race. Within a matter of days or weeks, the mango seed sprouts. A visible green stem breaks the surface, it grows leaves, starts expanding upward. But the bamboo farmer looks at his plot and there is nothing.
Nothing.
Zero visible growth above the ground.
Nothing at all, not even a tiny sprout.
Absolutely nothing. A whole year passes. The farmer keeps watering the seemingly barren dirt. He's providing manure, maintaining the irrigation, spending his time and resources. Still nothing.
Honestly, from a pure data perspective, I would cut my losses and quit. I mean, the opportunity cost of watering dirt for a year is massive.
Which is exactly what human neurology pushes us to do. We're wired for immediate feedback loops. Most people would quit. But let's follow the timeline. 2 years pass. 3 years. 4 years.
Oh my God.
The neighbor's mango tree is getting huge, maybe even bearing its first early fruits. The bamboo plot is still just flat dirt. The farmer looks absolutely insane to the outside world.
This is brutal. It's the ultimate test of psychological endurance.
7 entire years pass.
Wait, 7?
Yes. The farmer has endured 7 years of ridicule, 7 years of sunk costs, 7 years of looking like a complete fool who was wasting his time on a failed venture. Everyone asks him why he refuses to hustle and plant something productive like the mango tree.
7 years of watering a seemingly dead patch of dirt. I can feel the anxiety just thinking about that.
But then comes the 8th year.
And what happens mechanically?
The bamboo finally breaches the surface, and when it does, it doesn't just grow, it shoots up with terrifying, almost violent speed. Within a matter of weeks, it reaches 80 feet high.
Whoa.
It absolutely dwarfs the mango tree, casting a massive shadow over the entire property.
80 feet in one single growth spurt.
Yes. But here is the critical analytical question, and this is where Chanakya's philosophy really kicks in. Did that bamboo tree take 6 weeks to grow 80 feet? Or did it take 8 years to grow 80 feet? Did it suddenly just magically burst into existence out of nowhere?
Well, it had to be growing the whole time, right? The energy was just directed elsewhere.
Exactly. What is absolutely fascinating here is the unseen mechanism. It's the concept of invisible growth. For 7 years, the bamboo was not dead, and it was certainly not lazy. It was doing something far more resource-intensive than growing a few leaves.
Okay.
It was building a massive, complex, deeply interwoven root system underground.
It was engineering its own foundation, like getting ready to support the eventual scale.
Yes. Think about the physics of an 80-foot grass stalk. Without that incredibly expansive, heavy root system anchoring it, an 80-foot tree would just immediately snap in the wind. The base had to be perfectly engineered before any vertical scale could be attempted.
Okay, let's unpack this and bring it back to reality, because I get the biology, but how does this apply to me? So me sitting on my couch, avoiding my spreadsheet, watching TV, is that actually root growth? Or am I just completely deluding myself and being lazy? Because procrastinators are like absolute masters at rationalizing their own inaction.
Right, and this is the critical juncture where we must define laziness using Chanakya's precise parameters. He differentiates starkly between 2 states of inaction. One is being tamasic.
Tamasic. Let's define that clearly. What does that mean in a modern context?
So, tamasic is the Sanskrit concept of destructive laziness. It is pure lethargy. It is born of ignorance and delusion. It's actively ignoring your duties, letting your wealth rot, and avoiding reality because you are just afraid of the friction of life. A tamasic king loses his kingdom because he refuses to look at the state of his borders.
So couch surfing, ignoring my overdue bills, and scrolling social media for 6 hours to numb my brain, that is entirely tamasic.
Yes, that is deeply destructive and leads directly to ruin. But, and here's the paradigm shift, the opposite of physical hustle is not necessarily tamasic laziness. The opposite of mindless action is Aanvikshiki. It is deep, calculating, highly structured thought.
The intellectual root system.
Precisely. The truly wealthy, the people who build lasting empires rather than just burning out in a few years, they do the heavy lifting in their minds long before they ever lift a finger in the physical world. They think in complex numbers, they think in multi-year strategies, they are simulating various futures in their heads.
So they are incredibly active.
Yep.
Like the processor is running at 100%. It's just invisibly active to an outside observer.
Yes. And Chanakya would argue that taking massive, grinding physical action without having done that deep, invisible thinking is the actual waste of time. Mindless hustle is just as destructive as tamasic laziness because it burns resources with no strategic direction.
Wow, okay.
Chanakya breaks this Aanvikshiki down into several distinct parts to make it actionable. The very first foundational part is called Sankhya.
Sankhya, what does that translate to?
It translates directly to numbers, enumeration, or calculation. It is the philosophy of quantification.
Mhm.
Rich people, strategic people, they absolutely love number crunching. While they are supposedly sitting around doing nothing, they're actually mentally calculating the exact profit to risk ratio of their next 5 moves.
Oh, I see.
They are analyzing market data, assessing the capitalization of their competitors, running probability matrices.
So they aren't just blindly throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, which is honestly what the modern hustle culture often feels like. They are refusing to move until the math practically guarantees a return.
And never blindly hustle, they wait, they calculate, they observe, and here is the paradox. To the frantic, outside world that worships constant motion, a deep, strategic thinker looks like they are doing absolutely nothing. They look intensely lazy. They look exactly like the bamboo farmer watering a patch of dirt.
Mind blown, honestly. So the procrastinator might actually be in a position of immense power, but only if they were actively using that quiet time to calculate and build the Sankhya. If they are analyzing the data,